What's going on, Georgia Bass-TEC fans? Welcome, each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. Hopefully, my video feed does not take and get like what it was a minute ago. So, appreciate each and every one of y'all. Appreciate, first off and foremost, we want to thank each and every one of our sponsors for our Hooked Up Lives. And this is kind of going to be a unique section of show here. We want to thank Line Taming Serum, Just Catch Bass, Star Lures, G2 Gemini Jerseys, Tiny Boat Nation Outdoors, as well as PFD Fishing and Dugout Bait and Tackle. Appreciate each and every one of them. Go back to the beginning of the video feed at the ticker at the bottom, and it tells you all the different things that you can go through between their social media pages, discounts of promotion codes and stuff like that. If you want to purchase stuff through with each and every one of them, each one would appreciate seeing y'all. So thank each and every one of these for sponsoring our Hooked Up Live. So no further ado, I would like to take this moment and welcome onto our live feed our 2023 Georgia Bass-TEC State Champions, Chris Gayton and Aaron Cole. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hello, everybody.
So we had a fun day up at Lake Blue Ridge, all of us.
We did. It was and I was exciting. That was exciting. Oh, who is it? Carrie Bell? What's up, Carrie?
Carrie's got some stories about Blue Ridge too, if I remember right.
He does.
Seen them pictures start to surface, and after the event was finally said and done, right?
Yeah. Man, it was a great location. I think the dock worked out well. Man, it was nice to be able to go down, get the boat in the water, anchor off, or tie off to the dock, and kind of hang out and get to catch up with some people, some folks you don't get to see as much. It was fun.
That was a once in a lifetime opportunity, because I doubt it will make its availability down the road. So Carrie Bell saying he's moving there. I'm telling you, man, I'm right there with you. Me and my wife, we stayed in an Airbnb up there, and she done already figured out she was going to buy the place up there from them. She was.
Yeah.
So,
Aaron lived there for a while, 6 years.
Do you regret moving from there?
In some ways. When you have to drive to Atlanta to work every day, it gets kind of rough.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is when you retire, you might be sitting somewhere on a mountain lake?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go through just everybody, welcoming each and every one of y'all and giving y'all congrats. So
What's up,
Blake, for everybody that does know, I know Blake's dad had, and I'm sure he don't mind because he did post it on Facebook with it. So I believe Mr. Yarder Jay had surgery. I believe it was today.
Yeah.
So if everybody would just, I haven't heard update on it or anything like that, but we've been praying for him, Blake. Hopefully everything come through good if it was for today.
Our thoughts and prayers are with him, with you all.
Mr. Cogburn, congratulations, guys, is what he's saying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tanner Carson.
Tanner, what's up, buddy? Thank you.
And Bobby Underwood. I drive to
Thank you,
Atlanta
Bobby.
every morning. So does Bobby live up that way? Do y'all know him?
Do what?
You know Bobby Underwood?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
We I drive there. I work in Buckhead every day, so it's not fun. Not a fun commute. I try to leave early and leave early. Leave early to get there and leave early to get home.
That's good. So let's talk, and I want to throw this out there to everybody that's watching. Feel free at any time to chime in, questions, comments, anything like that y'all would like to take and bring up to discuss. We're just going to jump on here and just chit-chat fishing, whether or not Chris and Aaron may want to fully dive into all their answers and secrets. But I do have some topics that I know I'm not going to forget one of them, and I believe it's probably one of the most debated subjects of all. Everybody tiptoes around is forward-facing sonar related. I'm not going to dive into specifics or nothing like that. I kind of want to get y'all's view and opinion on something before the show ends. So, let's talk about Blue Ridge. Y'all had actually, if I heard it correctly from y'all didn't go up there pre-fishing prior to the event.
No, we didn't. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And, Aaron and I the more that we've fished together, what, 3 years?
Almost 3 years.
3 years, 4 years off and on. But, we've talked about that. Actually, just had that discussion with Taylor. I was giving Taylor Smith a hard time about his free fishing, but I seen Tanner and Josh was talking about it on a post too. And the more I pre-fish or the more we pre-fished, it seems like it hurt rather than help, because you go out there. I like to dissect the water in the current state. It changes, especially this time of year. It changes so much day to day. And that was kind of our game plan from months back, really.
Yeah. We fished that same area for 4 tournaments.
Yeah.
That was our 4th tournament, and actually our 4th win.
Yeah.
They live there, right?
They
live there. The fish
they're
live there.
in that area.
Yeah.
At some place.
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked about it, Chris. I mean, we were kind of in our 5-6 times of going up there pre-fishing that we went out. I mean, we dissected the obvious locations and stuff like that, but there's few places on that lake that they really congregate around, and that was one of them. And me and JV made the decision. It was like, we want something off the path, way from everybody. You said something a minute ago, Aaron, about, you said it was 6 years ago when you lived up there?
No, I lived up there for 6 years.
Oh, 6 years. How many years ago was it?
From 97 to 03.
So that was back in the smallmouth days.
Yeah, we caught some up there then. I mean, you caught spots too, but you didn't really catch spots the size they are now.
So I can't remember what year it was. All the directors, we'd all, had conversations, and I actually had spoken with one of the DNR folks through with this region up here in the Mountain District, and they had told us years ago, whenever being where I work, I was involved with them a little bit, doing some shock studies on our lake at where I work at and stuff. So they had mentioned that Blue Ridge back, I don't remember how many years ago it was, 2016, I think it was, that there were multiple state record spotted bass swimming in that lake. And then there was a bacteria that came into that lake like 2 years after that, and it wiped them. Like, just, I mean, y'all agree with that. I'm sure y'all would. It is tough to come by a 4-pound spot in that lake. Wouldn't y'all agree?
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe, though, honestly, we fished it, just the difference from, 2 years ago to this year, the size of the spots. I mean, they're getting back.
Oh, yeah.
It's
big.
Yeah.
So Mr. Underwood's making some comments here that's actually kind of interesting. That was before they drained the lake and the dam repairs. And I'm assuming he's referring to for the smallmouth fishery, because his next comment on here was saying that they had actually, DNR, I'm assuming, put 75,000 smallmouth in the lake 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
That's pretty cool.
That is. That was I really want to catch a smallmouth.
I wonder what size they put in.
It had to be a little bit larger than fingerlings, I would assume.
Yeah. That could be why all the spots are so fat.
Yeah.
There is definitely not a shortage of bait in that lake.
No.
Definitely not. So let's talk. I mean, y'all went into the tournament pretty comfortable, knowing that those fish were still in a winter pattern. Was y'all kind of worried that you know, they might pull up shallow, worried about conditions of rain, anything like that?
Not really.
No.
We kind of wanted the weather to be just like it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the weather worked out perfect for us. I mean, but I mean, I did have rods rigged for both shallow and deep, and I really didn't have anything rigged for really deep until Aaron made a few changes and caught.
It was still the same. Basically, we've done the same thing all day.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just a color and size difference.
Yeah. And I don't mind. I mean, you know me, Merrick. I'm pretty. Aaron gets on me sometimes. I talk too much sometimes, but they were all fingerling size. There you go. Spots are growing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just kind of recap. I mean, what happened that morning is we pulled up and we actually started outside of a little ditch area, and kind of fished our way in. And when we got into one of the ditches that we fished, I made a shallow cast, probably 15 foot deep or something. Yeah. I say a shallow cast, but probably 15 foot deep. And I had not seen anything on the forward facing sonar. They were just, the fish were evidently glued to the bottom. But made that cast and really wasn't even looking in that direction. It was throwing a Bass-TEC at 2.8. Yeah. Pink Bass-TEC. But anyways, got my first bite and it was a 401.
No, it was the 431. It
431.
was actually our biggest fish.
Yeah, a 431. And I think you had another bite or two.
I can't remember. Well, we really didn't know the fish were there until he caught that first one. Yeah. And when he did, he was putting fish in a live well or something. Yeah. Yeah. And I looked at the sonar, at forward facing sonar, and it was just lit up. All those fish that were on the bottom come up about 4 foot, and we knew we hit the right spot. Yeah. So he said, "Oh my gosh." So I jumped back up there and looked, and I hadn't even. I get so scatterbrained and so tore up when I'm, when stuff like that's going on. Aaron's like, "Here, I'll take care of the fish." He jumps back there and starts doing that, and I made another cast, missed one, casted back out, and had another bite, set the hook, and that was the 401. So that was a 401, the second fish, and got it up the boat, and it was one of them deals, I guess, swung at the bait, throwing a single hook Bass-TEC, and it hooked it right in the top of the nose. And I'm like, I can't believe we even got that fish in. But, from that point, that bite slowed down. Yeah. Real fast. Real quick. And I just couldn't lay it down. So I guess I threw it for probably another hour. Yeah, we both did. Same thing. Yeah, and Aaron made a change and went to a shad color bait in a 3.8 and caught one. And then a couple casts later, it got bit like 3 casts in a row after that. Yeah. And I was like, all right, time to swap it up. So I swapped it up, and I think I caught one more. And I don't think I did. I got short stroke. That's when we moved. We was headed to the other pocket, and we got up on that shallow, and you caught one on the crank. Yep. Yeah, I did catch one on a rock crawler. That's the only fish that didn't come on a Bass-TEC. Yep. Yep. So we moved over to another ditch, and Aaron made a parallel cast down this ditch, and first cast bit the tail off. That's right. Mm-hmm. I can't remember all the details. I'm all scatterbrained. I literally had 2 of those Bass-TECs. Yeah. Had 2. Yeah. So I made the same cast he made,
and I caught a smaller one. And then Aaron made a cast and caught a smaller one. And he had just said, I mean, literally got out of his mouth, we need one more over 4. I think we may have a shot. And
literally, I said that. The next cast he caught.
I caught another 401.
We had 2 401s.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I got on the phone with my wife, and he's like, "Don't tell her. Don't."
I'm like, "Don't jinx us."
Don't say nothing. Let's just go. Let's just keep fishing. So we fished around for a while. Went back to the original
We went
spot.
to the starting spot, and I don't think we ever caught another fish there, did we?
We caught some out in open water on Panoptics under a bait ball.
Yeah.
Caught 3 or 4 out there, and then started headed back to the ramp. And we got about halfway up, and I just looked on my maps real quick. I pulled up my maps and was looking at ditches or something similar. Found one, and there was a boat pulling out.
Yeah.
And I think Billy pulled in to the ditches.
After. Yeah,
split.
that was the next. Yeah.
And I looked up, and actually, I think Taylor had texted me or called me. Called me and asked me how we were doing. And Smith, and I said, man, and he was giving me a hard time. And I spun the forward-facing sonar, and we seen 2 fish sitting out there. And I'm like, hey, I got to go. And hung up. I fired out. Aaron fired out. And man, I hooked up, and
I was about to get the net still out there, and then one got mine.
Yeah, he was literally laying his rod down. He's like, oh, I got one too. So we kind of double netted those, and they would actually both called. But with the rules, the half-pound penalty and no culling of dead fish is, we put mine called by a few ounces, and Aaron's would have called by a few ounces too, but it was hooked a little bit deep, and we did our best to fish it out and let it go. It swam away. Everything was good, but we just didn't want to take that chance of, culling up by a 1/4 pound and losing a 1/2 pound for a dead fish. So,
yep. And you and I had talked about it prior to this. We had the same thing. We had I think it was before we had a limit. We caught one that was about 2 pounds, and it just gorged it all the way down its throat. And I had to take my finger, and it was bleeding, and put it back in the water right then and there, and it swam off. And I was like, JB's like, why are you doing that? And I was like, I guess he just didn't remember the rule that was in place with it. So I was like, well, it'll be all right, man. So let me hear about y'all's, I'm curious on like stats in past. Y'all said y'all won how many events up there? 4?
That made 4.
Yeah.
So out of the
4 wins,
out of those 4, did y'all have any largemouths in those bags?
1. We had one tournament. We had 2, I think 2 largemouth.
Yeah, and I think that was
around
the spawn, and we actually run.
That was that real. Yeah, no, I can't remember.
We started right there where I think that was I can't remember which tournament it was.
I think we had the 2 largemouth when we ended up on those deep docks.
Oh yeah.
Good size largemouth or just 2-pounder?
No.
Yeah, 2-pounders.
No, that was the best bag we've had up there by far.
It was. I think, as far as timing, the fish they're healthy. It was obviously we're going to say it worked out really good, but it really did. The fish were active. They were healthy. They looked good. I think it's just like you said, it's finding those schools where they're really concentrated.
Yep. So what about like if some folks are watching for Lake Blue Ridge that fishes it a pretty good bit, what about do y'all think the generation has or had anything to do with past fishing up there for y'all?
That's something that I've never it's either going to be happening or it's not. So I try not to I don't know. I guess it's probably a downfall for me, but
did y'all know what they was doing that day for generation?
I had no idea.
Had no idea.
9 a.m. to 1 p.m. they generated.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that really.
I don't know.
I mean, we didn't.
When we caught those 6 on 6 casts,
they were generating then.
They had to be generating.
But other than that, our first fish was before the generation time. Our 2 4s were before that, and our 2 last calls were after that.
Yeah, we had 3. We had 3 fish for 12 pounds. What, in the first 30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah.
That's awesome. So, and you said something about pulling up on your phone and looking. I'm assuming you're referring to like maybe the Lowrance C maps.
No, the Garmin.
Garmin. So Garmin has the same.
Yeah, they have active captain.
So curiosity, if you've seen the same thing, I actually got Lowrance C maps on my phone and I had a different map at one time when I first got the Lowrance, and for some reason it changed. Blue Ridge, pretty much when you get outside, like stay around Main Lake, nothing upriver or anything like that, just staying around Main Lake. It's pretty much a flat valley that's through there, ain't it?
It is.
I mean, 100-foot deep it's just like a giant valley of just flatness.
Yep, it is. It is. So that's one thing too that the Garmin, that active captain, I run a Ghost, and I've got HDS 9 Live, and then I got a 1222 Garmin with a forward-facing sonar. And the active captain, it's pretty neat how it works. You can actually zoom in on lakes and highlight them and download community maps. So for anybody that's ever ran a Garmin with their side imaging turned on, it builds maps, and it's part of a community map that's built. And even all the small lakes that we fish, you can do the same thing with that. And it's nice because everything's on your graph and everything updates through the app. So
that's cool.
Connect your phone to the Wi-Fi on your electronics, and everything lays over.
So does it do the same way like for Humminbird, way it used to do, having like hardness, vegetation, softness?
Yeah. You can do all of that. Now that you can do all those settings through your graph or through that app, but you can account for the lake being low, account for the lake being high, shade all your different depth ranges. There's a lot more than I know what to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
There's a man that just come off W.
Yes, sir.
Sure did. That was an impressive bag there, Tim, for you and Justin both. All right, so I'm just going to dive into the topic.
All right.
And I want to hear y'all's take on this, because I have not researched rules or anything like that, but forward facing has really changed. I mean, it's changed the entire game to everything. Do y'all see, for example, Chris, I know you well enough. Aaron, I'm not 100% of how you are on this. You and me, Chris, we love sight fishing. We love bed fishing. When it gets this time of year, it's pumping in our bloods.
Mm-hmm.
With forward facing sonar. And I think we've kind of tiptoed maybe in the past kind of talking about it, but with forward facing sonar, say for example, let's start this way. If you're out there in open water and you catch a fish, you're looking at it. Say you're throwing a jerkbait, 3 treble hooks on it. That fish comes up, bam, and it doesn't eat it, but it swipes at it and you foul hook it. Okay, is that technically sight fishing? And then go into the next analogy of bed fishing. You see, for example, let's say you got a group of spotted bass that's on bed. You're throwing out there and you're seeing them on forward-facing sonar, but you cannot physically look underwater eyeball to eyeball with them. But you see them come over. Let's just say you're throwing a jerkbait again on bedded spotted bass, and they come off their bed, swipe at it, and they miss it outside the mouth. Do you really know they're on bed? What do you think? Do you think there's going to be rules that are going to come into play down the road for forward-facing sonar like that?
I don't think so, because you don't. I mean, who knows the way technology is going? I mean, it may be where you can get that separation, but there's a lot of times now. I mean, Aaron will tell you that I'll cast a bait.
He sets the hook before the fish has got it.
Yeah, I'll set the hook a lot of times before the fish ever has it, just because I'm so zoned into that. But I've caught a lot of fish and not feeling the bite,
right,
but seeing the bite on the forward-facing sonar, and set the hook and the fish is there. But that I've also messed myself up a lot like that, pulling the bait away from them or whatever the case may be.
It's easy to do. You get so in tune with that you forget.
Yeah.
You got to feel it, Mike.
I don't think so, because I don't know. I don't think the separation's there. So, I mean, there's been several times, though, that I've also casted a big swim bait or something, for example, and a fish tailing your bait almost becomes one with your bait, and just nothing ever happens. I mean, I still think that it's going to be if you are physically looking at a bedding fish, and that fish, you foul hook that fish, then that's a foul hook fish. And I've let plenty of fish go in the past, that same way. But fishing for a bed fish with a bottom bait, and I've done it. Merrick, you know how it is. You pull up on a fish, a lot of times they'll get spooky. You have to back off of them. And then you can't see them, physically see them. But with forward-facing sonar, you can still, where they're at. You can see the fish. But you can't see your bait and the fish when it's on the bottom, and you're so, I don't know. I think that's the difference is you're not actually seeing the fish. So it's not technically, I mean, you're not snagging the fish. You're still fishing for the fish.
And see, and I don't think it's anything from us. But the only reason I'm bringing this up is there's going to be the folks. I mean, look up north with the walleye anglers. There's going to be those folks that's going to come along and be like, I can just throw this weighted treble hook down there in the bed. And I ain't saying none of our guys from, involved in the John boat stuff. We're all tight-knit community well enough. If anybody did like that, Aaron, you've been around it long enough too, the same way. Word's going to get around very, very quick, right? You know what I mean? We all know everybody. But I could see where, in a way, from my stance, if you are bed fishing, it's bed fishing. It's more of a within yourself kind of morally. Did you know that you made a mistake when you was watching it and you're less than 10 foot of water or whatever? I don't know the right. It's going to get brought up at some point, I would assume. That's why I was wanting to discuss it.
Last year, actually, at a lake that you're very familiar with, Merritt, and I'll just put it at that. You've done a lot of work on the lake and around the lake, and had some very good bags on the lake. But I found a fish. I ran out Saturday morning. My daughter had a game at like 1:00. So I went out and was really just going to fish a few hours, and was throwing a big swim bait. And the biggest fish that I've personally seen on any electric only lake followed that swim bait off a bed. And I turned around and got back up there and realized that she was on bed. And I don't know how big she was. I've caught two fish over 10. And 3 or 4 9s, but she was by far bigger than any of the 10s that I had caught. But I proceeded to sit right there, and even after the wind started blowing, I was using my forward-facing sonar and backed off a little bit to try to catch this fish. I've never seen a fish that big, but I had taken my shirt off to tell you how in tune I was with it, just to get a little bit of sun. And 6 hours later, I was water blisters on my back, going to the house like a beat puppy because
You pulled a Tim White, huh?
Yeah, I was running late for my daughter's game, or I wasn't running late, but I was gonna be late, and if I didn't leave, so I took off, got the ramp, loaded the boat, got to her game before it got started. But man, and there was somebody else that found the fish too, because there was a guy that set out 50 yards from me, 100 yards from me. He just kept coming back by, checking. And when he come out across the lake, he was coming straight at me. So he knew the fish was there. And I don't know if anybody's watching that did know, or maybe they're watching this tonight. If they did catch it, I'd like to know how big it was. It was definitely, like I say, by far the biggest fish that I've seen on a electric only reservoir.
I talked to you on the phone that day.
Yeah.
He was beside himself.
Yeah.
It's like, this thing's got to be 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So I'm in my man cave in the basement. You want me to turn the camera around and show it to you on the wall? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, but and that lake gets beat down a lot. I don't mind telling. I mean, it was hickory log, and it gets beat down a lot for a lot of small fish, and there is a lot of fish in that lake, but there are also some really, really big fish.
They are, and it's tough to pattern them out there. So Tyler Cogburn's telling congratulations, and I don't know if you caught it in the beginning, but Tyler, they did throw it out there, the baits. How'd y'all catch him? He was lost out there.
Kitex 2.8, 3.3, 3.8. Yep. And 3/8 head and a 1/2 ounce head.
Most of our fish come literally off the bottom.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas.
And I don't mind saying a lot of the fish that we had seen and passed up there pre-fishing was hugging. I mean, literally, like it was very difficult to even pick them apart from the bottom, and you would draw them up and you'd see a wolf pack of them. And it changed a little bit for us on tournament day. There was a lot more suspended.
So I'm waiting to hear back now, but I had let's see.
Alan Garber saying it should be banned. Talking about forward-facing sonar, it's like shooting fish in a barrel.
I'll disagree with that because
Chris quit fishing.
Well, my thing is I spent a lot of time and wasted a lot of time on fish that, I mean, yeah, you can see the fish, but getting those fish to bite, and you can spend a lot of time. You can get hung up on a school of fish that a lot of it's timing. You gotta know when to go.
You can waste your day.
Yeah,
with that thing.
Yeah,
it was like, correct me if I'm right with this. You have 2 to 3 months, fall to winter, in that transition. That usually that's when everybody gets out of the summer mode and gets into, back in the day when it was just traditional graphs. You're out there literally vertically fishing over top of them, and you're what we used to call video gaming back in the day is now truly, because of forward-facing sonar, it's video gaming. But I'll agree with y'all wholeheartedly. It's not you'll waste more time than you do good on it.
Yeah. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's awesome to be able to watch a bait fall to a fish, 70 feet from the boat, and the fish eat it. Or to bring a bait over the top of the fish and the fish come up and eat it. But that's Kenneth or Heidi, probably Kenneth. Thank you.
maybe both of them sitting there.
Yeah, he actually helped me put my new battery in the boat tonight.
That's cool.
So,
the E-Pack E175.
yes, sir.
Sweet. So okay, you bring that up. Let's talk about boat setup on it and stuff. What you had from before to what you're running now.
Yeah. So Aaron and
Russ.
Well,
Yes,
Russ originally had the boat.
Yeah.
And then I got the boat from Russ, and then now you've got the boat.
Yeah. So they built it out. It's a Fisher 1860. It's a big boat. It measures 19, but it's what they consider their 1860. And when I got the boat from Aaron, it had a motor guide, trolling motor on the back, 100. What is that? 109.
109.
And then it had a Fortrex on the front. I put what did I put on it originally?
You put another trolling motor on the back.
I bought
two 36.
Yeah, 236s on the back and had a ton of weight. Had 11 batteries, gel batteries, and then fished it that way for a couple of years probably. Yeah. And 2 TECs ago, or the last TEC at hard labor, we run all the way up the right arm, blew the top out of a battery. And
blew the top out of a battery?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That was when I was by myself, wasn't it?
No, that was before. It did that one time before.
Oh, that's right.
No, did it get acid in the bottom of the boat?
It was a gel battery, and it swallowed the top off and blew one of the lugs out. So,
thank goodness, that could have been worse.
Yeah, for sure. So we started actually just fishing back towards the ramp at that point because we knew we were going to be kind of handicapped on the way back. And let's see, that's 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. I swapped over and put an E-Propulsion Navy 6.0 EBO and E175 battery pack in it. Added the Lowrance Ghost front trolling motor, HDS 9 Live, and I started out with a 93 SV for forward facing sonar and changed that up and went to a 1222 Garmin for the forward facing. But that's pretty much what I'm still running the same thing. I've got let's see, 300 amp hour Monster Marine lithiums, the E175 battery pack, and then I just recently went down to Tiny Boat Nation Southeast, and man, what all did I get? I got a powerhouse
truck full
powerhouse. I got new switches, new fuse panel,
new
recessed trolling motor, foot pedal.
Did you not have a recessed troll tray in it before?
Yeah, but it had the little small one in it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really work. We actually had to cut a 2x8 block.
Yeah.
And put in the pedal under the pedal to hold it up to where it would actually fit in there.
Yeah, it was too small. So I got that. Got their dual graph mount. And currently my boat is tore to pieces. Fishing Saturday. So
biggest difference that we done to the boat last year really was, or was it year before? I can't remember. Year before was took all those batteries out.
Oh yeah.
We lost what, 500 and something pounds?
Yeah. 500 and something pounds, and the trailer's thanking me. Yeah, we lost even, total weight to total weight was 500 something pounds. Yeah. But it was and you can tell the difference. I mean, you can tell the difference in the way it tows, the way it drives, the way it.
Well, the boat sets probably 2-3 inches higher out of the water.
Yeah. So I will say that too. I don't know what it is about that hull, but I'm running the same as a lot of the guys are running 16 and 17 foot boats and really almost a 19 foot boat.
Yep. So I'm gonna get to some different questions here along the way. Eric Richards, how long do you think it'll take before we can fish hickory log again? So it actually posted today. The barricades were removed, but I will tell you this: I did actually go by there today and seen that the water is just to the edge of the concrete. So if you put in, your truck tires are going to be out in the mud, and I guarantee you, with a trailer, you are going to get stuck. It's going to have to come up. It's about 3.5 feet low from what I'd heard from the utility engineer today. So still got a ways to go. Kevin Beatty, congrats, man.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
And Alan, I'm assuming, was referring to back to the forward-facing sonar that's taking the skill luck out of the equation. Then back to Eric here. Chris had helped wired up live scope.
Yep.
Lee Gibson, congrats. Boy, look at them fish he's holding up. Some good fish he's got right there, ain't it?
Yes, sir.
Looks like a spotted bass mixed in with a largemouth, maybe. Pretty good ones.
Good guy. I met him. Actually, I started following him on social media before I ever met him. Met him on Latham last year. Great guy, though.
And folks, feel free to fire away any questions anybody might have for two-time half reigning state champion Chris Gayton and Aaron Cole, state champion.
Thank you, Alan.
So Alan had the question about no spotlight. You do have. You've got the Ghost on the front, which does have spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all been, I mean, recent upgrades too. I mean, there's a lot of before that I didn't have the spot lock and I didn't have the forward facing sonar. I mean sonar, the forward facing sonar definitely helps you locate fish, but it doesn't make them bite. So that's just where I stand on it. I mean, I've hurt myself as much as I've helped myself with it. And there's really truly only a few events a year that it really makes a difference.
So Mr. Underwood has got a question for y'all. How far can you go in these electric boats, and what speed do you travel at? Lee lives up at a lake and was at the marina for y'all's weigh-in. Awesome, Mr. Underwood. Appreciate that. Chris, you want to dive into it?
So for us, I mean, we can run, I don't even know on a mileage thing. I've never really paid attention to it, but
we figured what was the distance at hard labor up the main creek?
4 miles.
4 miles. 4 miles. Yeah, and that's about how far we ran.
Yeah,
just a little shy of 4 miles during the TEC at 9 miles an hour.
Yeah, and so, we got back and we were still at 64% on battery.
Yeah,
after running 8 miles.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all in your setup too. A lot of that's going to be determined by the weight of your setup, and I mean, we've got guys. Well, Troy fishes electric fishing series with us, and he, I mean, he's running 27, 29 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's his and Nikolai's, both of their setups are pretty unbelievable. I mean, you can
kind of hard to believe it's an electric motor.
It is. It is. You have to take a double take when you're looking at him coming across the water. Like, what is this guy doing? Oh, that's Troy. But no, I mean, it really depends on your setup, but and these lithium batteries they're really coming along.
Oh yeah.
The electric outboards are really coming along. I'm hearing rumors, but I'm hoping that E-Propulsion's going to come out with another outboard above the Navy 6.0, or the EVO 6.0 EVO. This will be my third year running that particular outboard. By the way, I've never had an issue with it. It's
other than my driving.
Yeah, we hit a stump one time, and that was just, it is what it is. That could have happened in anything, but never had any issues with the battery packs, the motor, nothing. It's been great, but there's a lot of companies coming out now. I've seen some 200s that are electric motors, and it's all in really what you're willing to spend.
Right there in it.
There you go.
All what you can afford and speed.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm gonna throw this out there because that's pretty funny. Taylor Smith.
You're hoping. Yeah. The Sonar King, or the forward-facing Sonar King.
So I want to ask this. More focused towards Aaron for a moment. Aaron, how many years you been in electric only jumbo style fishing?
I don't know.
See, it was back in the day with us. It's probably been 15 years ago? Maybe.
So actually the first electric tournament I fished was on Latham with y'all, with SWAT. And I couldn't tell you what year that was.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Who'd you fish with?
Bobby Adams.
Oh, that explains it. Gosh, why would you go on public telling that you fished with Bobby Adams? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Hey, I got big fish that day.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember what year it was. I really don't.
So, okay, being that it's been that many years, this is what I was going to get at for the question. We've seen a lot of changes. Just Chris, you've been in it for what, 6 years, 8 years?
Yeah, I started with you guys over at SWAT. So that's probably been 6-8 years ago.
So the changes is 6-8 years to now has progressed really rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron, do you see, looking back 15 years ago, when we all had just trolling motors stuck on the back of the boat, do you ever look back and miss those days and the limitations that you had to work around? Do you miss those days?
Honestly, no.
Because I do. I get a lot of feedback.
You don't have near as much money in it, but it's like anything else. It makes certain things easier. It's less of a burden worrying about you've got 2 batteries in the boat and one goes out and you're like,
we're paddling.
Spot lock is one of the best things ever created. You're fishing in 25-mile-an-hour wind. You're basically running the trolling motor. You're not fishing. So, stuff like that, I wouldn't. Yeah, if I had a little farm pond and one little trolling motor, and that might be okay. But for this, no, I think basically anything that comes out that's going to help. I don't want to go backwards.
There's been a lot of OGs that I've talked to, off camera, stuff like that. Guys that's almost, I don't even want to say the word retired, but that's kind of gotten older in life and just kind of set aside not tournament fishing, no more for John boat stuff. And, they brought it up that, reminiscing back in the old days. And I kind of, from my stance, I kind of get it. Blast offs are differently. That concept, and you go there and everybody is literally 4 to 6 mile an hour tops. Everybody's right there neck to neck. I do like the spreading out now that it creates, but I do miss that. It hyped it up differently, I guess is what I was trying to I didn't really probably get it out fully.
Oh, back then, if you could go 6 miles an hour, you was king.
Yes, sir.
Now I know when we fished Latham this year, and Troy and Nikolai probably had 10 minutes fishing before I ever got to where I could see them.
Heck, that was all of us up here at Blue Ridge. I mean, I'm curious if he's watching. If we blasted off, correct me if I'm right, guys. I think we called it before. It was like 701, 702, I think, whenever we blasted off up here at Blue Ridge. If you're watching, Nikolai, I would like to know when you set the boat down from pad and you made your first cast. I'm curious.
Man, I lost. He went.
I thought it was a gas boat at first. When I first seen it way out in front, I thought, there's somebody come out of the other boat ramp, and I'm like, nope.
Nikolai. No, that's Nikolai.
Well, I know some directors. We can talk and get them banned if we all want to agree that it was a gas motor that day.
No, he. I know he went the same direction that we went, and he was
gone
out of sight quick.
Yes. But I am curious what time if he's watching. I'm trying to get looking at these comments though in between. Can you give a number on how your boat cost as is? And I'm assuming he's referring to right now. How much you have in it?
If I purchased everything,
he probably shouldn't say this in case his wife watches it.
No, if I purchased everything, I would say somewhere around.
Hold on a minute. We might hear thuds of floor and running down the stairs.
She's not here.
They're at softball practice tonight, but let's see. I would say between around 16, 17,000.
You think?
It's probably more than that, right, Aaron? As far as when it was built.
No, I mean,
with the sponsorship,
the
motor deal.
Just look at value.
I'd say 22. 22. I mean, you figure the e-propulsion and the battery pack is what is that, around $8,000?
It's exactly $8,000.
$8,000. 14. Just the hull, and then 16, 17, and the graphs and forward-facing sonar. Yeah, around 22.
I figured that'd probably about right because I've got about 20 in my 1648 Bass Tracker.
Yep.
Lord, y'all, I appreciate each and everyone's comments coming through. I'm going to try to get through all of them here. Those are the good days. Everyone was on an equal playing field, less than $1,000 setups. Now there are $40,000 plus setups. And that's a guy, if anybody would know what people are putting in these boats, representative right there with Tiny Boat Nation guys, Southeast.
But I mean, that's to be said for, and I that's to be said with anything fishing. Because I had this debate with one of the guys that work over at Hammond's, and he was giving me a hard time about, the electric fishing. They always do, even though he begs me to take him out there all the time. So, but at the same time, he's running around in $110,000 bass boat. So, I mean, it's like you're running around in a $110,000 bass boat fishing for, he's not fishing in the real big trail. So he's fishing for $6,000-8,000, and we're running around in a $20,000 boat, or $25,000 boat, fishing for the same amount of money. So, it's to be said for anything, though. You could, back 15 years ago, you could buy a bass boat, a nice bass boat.
Yeah.
For what these boats are costing now, the electric boats are costing now. And now to buy a nice bass boat, you're going to have 70 grand in it.
At least.
That's
without any electronics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about these guys that are running, you could name any bass boat hull. It don't matter about the hull. mean, it does, but a $70,000 haul, and then you've got can't take it with you. That's right.
Yeah, spend that paper.
Right. But you know, they're running 4 and 5 graphs. They got $25,000 in electronics, then power poles, then trolling motor, and I mean they got 30 grand, 35 grand in just accessories, not including the motor. That's half your boat cost is your motor and your accessories and these nicer. I'd say at least a third of your boat cost, probably half.
And then you're burning $200 at least
right.
worth of gas every time you go out.
Yeah, you go
for a tournament.
Yeah, a tournament weekend is going to cost you $200 just in fuel costs.
Yeah,
sure is nice to pull back up and charge them batteries up and not have to worry about it, ain't it?
I'll plug it up with a grin on my face.
Hope nobody from the EMC companies are watching, right?
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna put this out there. Tim's talking about it. No more sharpening your oars, Merrick. So there's probably just a select few that know that statement. So, and I did apologize to the guy. So we're on talking terms now. So, but that was the days. That was. This is really intriguing. This is the first of our kind right here, and I'm really, really thankful. This gentleman, Adrian Wilson from Australia.
Awesome.
Been running Bass Electric tournaments here for the last 20 years. Really enjoy watching it out in the U.S. It's awesome. Be cool to see an international Bass Electric tournament one day. That would be phenomenal.
That would be awesome. I'd love to go to Australia just to fish something different.
I don't know. There's too many spiders in Australia for me.
There's too many snakes.
I mean, I ain't scared of. I agree, 1,000% of the snakes, but I mean, I just don't know if I can handle all that stuff. You can come here to Georgia if you want to. In the southeast, we got a lot of electric only lakes, but I'd like to conversate with you, Adrian, on topics like that down the road because I'd like to even find out y'all's group pages, everything else like that. So that way we can share back and forth and see y'all scenes in Australia and everything else. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Really.
If you could find me on Facebook and send me a friend request, I'd like to. That's awesome.
That is really, really cool. So I'm assuming they're in the same way because it looks like on the back of his boat, he's got from his profile photograph, if I can see it well enough, looks like a trolling motor style motor on it. If you want to drop us a comment, I'm curious on the Aussies, what they running. You can drop us a comment, let us know. So appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Guys, I'm trying to get through all these comments. It's been a bunch. Yeah, Blake Yarder's talking about his boat setup. Same thing. Boat setup, $20K retail.
Yep.
I'm gonna put all these out these prices because you never know. Just like you said, wives may be watching, maybe getting these guys in the doghouse before it's over with. He's got 5 in his. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. In mine, I'm fighting though, so I'm assuming he's talking about he's got 5 in it.
Yep.
Justin Donaldson, he wound up saying congratulations to y'all earlier, and I didn't take and put it up on the screen because everything was coming through at once.
Thank you, Justin.
Got about 30.
I call him Tiny. He's probably going to whip up on me when he sees me for that.
He is the bodyguard.
Yeah. Oh, man, his boat moves. He's got 2 EP20s on his, and it's moving.
Awesome. So what do y'all prefer fishing? Do y'all like bringing it home to the North Georgia mountains? Do y'all like a southern region? What's y'all's preference points of y'all's style?
Well, I'm a spotted bass guru, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
I knew that answer.
Yeah.
Aaron. I mean, you can give me a 2D sonar and a drop shot, and I'm fine.
Yeah. I like anything new, honestly. I get excited about fishing new lakes, fishing lakes that really don't have that much experience with. I feel like, honestly, I mean, it's when I feel like I do the best. I don't have prior knowledge of those fisheries because a lot of times I get hung up on that. And I really like just, fishing new lake, breaking it down, figuring things out. I don't really have a preference, I don't guess. I do like some big spots, but
we kind of fell in love with hard labor though.
Hard labor, yeah.
That's probably was one of our favorite lakes.
Yeah. So the first TEC that I fished with Mike, and Aaron and Tim fished in that TEC together.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You busted our bubble.
Yeah. What was it?
We sat on the hot seat the whole way in.
Oh yeah.
What did y'all finish that tournament, Aaron? Do you remember?
Second.
That's what I was thinking. Y'all was second.
I think we had 1997, and Chris and Mike had just a little over 20.
Yeah, a little over 20, like 20. I can't remember. I think I got it up here somewhere, but yeah, that was the second time I've been on hard labor. The first time was terrible. Mike caught 2 fish, and I don't even think I caught a fish. But yeah, that is probably one of my favorite lakes. It's either on or it's off.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it can be that bad.
No, it ain't that bad. Aaron and I fished last year with EBO or year before the Classic? Or no, it wasn't a Classic. Yeah, it was 2-day Classic
last year. Or no, year before last. I forgot. We turned up.
And first day, I think we had 24 pounds.
24 something.
And the second day, we had like 11.
No, we had
12.
15 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just knew it was a lot. It was, just day to day. But, I've realized that's with a lot of these, really any body of water. I mean, it's,
yeah.
And I think it's not a lot of things that you can see either. It's pressure changes. It's just a lot of it's timing, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But it's I know we fished Lanier. Tommy and I fished Lanier Saturday and pulled up on one school first thing that morning, caught a couple fish, and it for like 3 hours was just a lull. I mean, we didn't catch, I don't even think I caught one fish in 3 hours, and then it all of a sudden just turned on. So
y'all had a pretty good sized bag too, didn't
you? Yeah, we had right at 18 something, right at 19 pounds Saturday. But,
man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. So I don't have a specific, I like any new lake.
Yep. Half reigning state champ, John White, late to the party. Congrats, both of you, man. Well done out there.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to keep running through these. Landry Johnson, awesome job.
Thank you, sir.
He's got 15 in his.
Yep.
Ryan Quinton, congrats, guys.
Thank you, sir.
There's another Tiny in the group.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
You can go back and see any of the pictures. He is probably without a doubt the biggest guy.
Wow.
That is, yeah. Yeah. So, no, I don't mean that in a bad way there, right?
No, nice as they get right there.
Yep. I'd like to see what you guys, and he says it in this next part, think about this. Do you think the Lanier spotted record will be broken within the next 3 years?
No.
So he asked that question. I think he put that out on Facebook the other day, and I don't know.
I don't see it.
So I don't know. That's a hard one.
What's the Lake Lanier spotted record right now?
8 something. I can't remember. I was 8.
So I know I've got the state record right here written down somewhere in my notes, because when we went up here to Blue Ridge, I had to make sure I kept notes of what.
State records in out of Burton, isn't it?
I don't know location, but state record spotted bass is 8 pounds, 2 ounces. And I could have swore 9 pounds, but didn't you think it was Aaron over 9?
I can't remember.
I thought it.
Sometimes.
8 pounds, 8.08 pounds, and 0.5 ounces
for Lanier.
Yep. It was caught in 1985.
1985.
That was a good year. The year I was born.
It's interesting concept. I think, in my opinion, there'll be a spotted bass record, I think, broke in the next couple of years, but I don't know if it'll be Lanier.
Did you know that Lanier's? What do you think the Lanier record is for a largemouth?
17. I can't think of his name. Donahue.
17 pounds, 9 ounces.
Are you kidding? What year?
1965. That is pretty cool.
When was Lanier built?
That I don't know.
Was it in the 50s?
I think it was.
Which would make sense, because you hear a lot of biologists talk about within the first 10 years, that's when you're going to see the maximum.
Yep. 1950s.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. First 10 years, you're going to see your most dramatic, and then decline.
I think that's true with largemouth.
Well,
but I don't think that's a true statement for spotted bass.
About them going up and down?
No, the best. The 10 years after it being built would be the prime.
Yeah, I don't. But I mean, Lanier is probably as good as it's ever been right now.
Spotted bass, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, by far. But you look at Carter's. Carter's was that way several years ago, and now look at the weights on it.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Well, I mean, it's.
I mean,
I think hard labor is a prime example of that too.
Oh yeah.
A lot of that vegetation I know is dying off, or the brush and stuff. A lot of that cover and hard labor is dissipated, but the weights have definitely started trending downhill.
I'm sorry. Tim White saying my brown trout record will be broken before the spotted bass record's broken.
Yeah.
So here's a question. Adrian Wilson, the Aussie man. Hopefully you don't mind us calling you that, sir. So he has what you guys would call 1472. He runs a Lowrance Ghost on the front, 24 volt, a Torpedo Cruise 4 on the back. It's 48 volt. The whole setup is lithium. He can run about 30 kilometers at a speed of around 7 kilometers per hour. Not sure what that is in miles per hour.
Sorry, my dog's barking.
She done sending the dog after you after finding out that daggum price tag.
They're probably getting home from ball practice.
Yeah, she heard it. She drove straight home after hearing how much money.
Yeah, she was watching, logged in and watching.
It is your last official state championship right there. She
the phone goes out in a minute. I'm sorry.
Aaron just called me. All right,
I'm like,
yeah.
We'll put you on an audio phone call as you're hitting the road, Aaron.
I see how it is now. It's all a trick. That was a trick to tell.
All right, sorry, Adrian. We'll get back to your question now. Or not question, but your topic with it. I'm curious if y'all have any of the e-propulsion motors that y'all are seeing in Australia showing up. I know here in the say for example in Georgia, and Chris, Aaron, I think y'all have heard other people running the Torqeedos, and one of the biggest conflicts with Torqeedo here in Georgia in the United States is having someone that can actually work on them. There's nowhere around that works on them, so everybody get them, and then they can't work on them. So
yeah,
that's one of the strongest benefits that we've got here in Georgia. Tiny Boat Nation's also a service center for e-propulsion motors. So I'm curious, Adrian, if you are seeing the e-propulsion products show up, and if not, shoot, we need to sit down and have some conversations.
I think they probably are, because I know I've seen some posts from Australia and stuff.
Yep, the first year in the TEC, we had a banner that I believe a Australian gentleman, wasn't a bass, and so that's why I'm kind of curious. I didn't realize. I mean, forgive my ignorance on this, but I assume there's probably largemouth bass throughout, everywhere.
I was wondering the same thing. I just going to ask him, but
but most of the pictures we usually see, or I see through social media from Australia, it's not bass, but it kind of looks like a tilapia, like a white bass mixed with a tilapia type deal. It's got a fat tail to it, and just y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just don't know the name of it. That's what I assumed most popular that people went after. But
yeah, he fished bass tournaments in Australia.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Carl Jockinson.
Oh yeah,
the pro circuit.
Yeah,
he bass fished in Australia before he came here, so undoubtedly they are.
That is really cool. That's intriguing to me.
It is. Like, my first thing that comes to my mind, and I'm not trying to take spotlight away from y'all state championship, but I'm sure it's hitting y'all's light bulb the same as us. Like, sitting here just thinking about, when do the fish spawn in Australia? Like, you always think how hot it is. Like, are they spawning all the time?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. But that's what intrigues me. I just said fishing new water and stuff like that. I mean, that's awesome.
So let's talk about y'all's next event. Where's y'all's next tournament that y'all are fishing?
So Aaron has retired. Aaron has retired.
Done? I've heard this before, Aaron.
Yeah.
I've said it before, but actually when we fished the state championship, the TEC, that was the first time I had been fishing since November.
What's your hobby now?
I don't want to say.
Okay, that's all good.
It's legal.
She's watching. I got you.
It's legal.
Man, I can't believe that. You're going in retirement again.
Yeah. Trust me, I've struggled with it as well. I've got a great partner, but Aaron and I fish really well together, and you know how we complement each other well. We'd gotten to the point where we knew we didn't even have to really talk about nothing. No. We had the same baits tied on every time, not the same baits, but baits to complement each other every time. He had his certain colors he liked. I had my certain colors I liked, or that I had confidence in, and he had his confidence baits, and it worked well, really well. And this year I am fishing with Tommy Kelly, another great guy. They're opposites. So Aaron is real quiet and laid back, and Tommy's wide open. But I've known Tommy for years and duck hunt with him for years. I actually worked with him back in the day on the power side. And, great guy.
I've seen a guy retire once or twice and come back and win again.
Yeah.
That's from Stetson Ray.
Yeah. No, that's the first time me and Aaron's been in a boat since November. I spent a lot of time this fall deer hunting and stuff, and yeah, from November to January, that's pretty much, well, yeah, out of touch with fishing. I done a lot of duck hunting, or a lot of deer hunting, and some duck hunting at the end of January. And
so I've already told Chris this, Aaron. I'm gonna have to tell you the same thing if Chris hadn't already told you it. But I'm kind of heartbroken because Chris knows what I'm about to say. I was hoping for y'all to have a very successful, and hopefully I could qualify again, because I want redemption to try to knock y'all's brakes off again.
Man, that was awesome, and congratulations to you and JV as well. I hadn't said it on air. I know we've talked off air a few times, but man, JV, I'm gonna get him in a headlock one of these days. He'll probably toss me around when I do, but he had me on edge for sure. And I just get, like I said, everybody that knows or that's ever been in a boat with me or knows, been around me fishing, I get pretty wound up. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But you know, we were sitting there watching the weigh-in, and I'd heard that y'all had a really good bag, and I ease over to JV, and I'm like, "What do you think we got? What you got?" I'm like, about 20.
That was your mistake right there. You eased up to JV.
Well, I can't help it. But you know, it was. And if y'all would have won it, I'd have been just as happy for y'all, man. I really, really enjoyed this year's TEC and being able to be a part of it, not just for the win. I mean, just the whole experience, really. You was talking about kind of getting back to your roots, and I know that you guys put a lot into this, but it's getting to see a lot of the folks that you don't get to see, getting to talk to everybody, getting to be a part of everything. Again, I know you said that it probably would never set up that way again, but it was pretty awesome. And I will say that morning, I'd run up the truck for something. No, maybe it was when I was just coming back from the truck, and I had my headlamp on, and I got down to the dock. You know, the ramp come down, and then it flattened out, and right where it hit the T.
Yeah.
Man, there was a giant lip laying there, 6-7 pounder laying up under a float. I eased over there, and I'm like, Aaron, you're not going to believe what I just seen. So then we go down to Tiny Boat Nation Outdoors, Sunday afternoon, and he's like, so now that everything's over with, how does it make you feel? Knowing that the winning bag was sitting under the docks over there. And I'm like, oh, on the way down that morning, I seen them, but they seen several big bass throughout the day in those boat slips and stuff. So.
Yeah, Geiger can tell you about a story of Blue Ridge with me and him about, I don't remember how many years ago it was, 7-8 years ago, I think. Massive 9-pounder on a Whopper Plopper I had come off.
Golly.
Up there. I wished I'd have had a GoPro back then. I really do. So Jeff Cass says, the great General Lee, we will miss you. That was back. I'm assuming he's talking about back in the day for your goatee, calling you the General Lee. Or?
Well, that's the nice version of it.
G-rated. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. We'll leave it at that and carry on. Blake Yarder, TEC's awesome. Great platform for electric fishing. Big thanks to all involved. Appreciate that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, everybody done a great job with
that. Mr. Adrian's back. Torpedo would be the most popular in Australia. We can get the e-propulsion, but they're not as popular. We fish for Australian bass. The biggest ever recorded fish went 9.8 pounds. Sorry, guys, didn't mean to hijack the interview. No.
I love it.
And we're in his last statement is the exact same feelings that we all share here in Georgia. Is we live for the electric stuff. We really I mean, Chris, you used to fish big waters. Aaron, you used to fish big waters. And we just don't. Would y'all not agree? You get more enjoyment out of the smaller waters than you do the big lakes?
I have.
Absolutely.
I really have.
I don't miss it. I really don't. Now, I will. The only thing that I ever miss, and you don't even get that anymore, really, when you show up to it. But when you were sitting there, back 20 years ago. Yeah, probably 20 years ago, 19 years ago, you'd be sitting there waiting on blast off, and all those 2-stroke engines would be pumping out the smoke, and you could smell everything. There was something to that, but you don't really get that anymore. And it was, I don't miss. I mean, I do. I'm the speed and stuff, yes, but that's part of the adrenaline rush for that. But what's on the flip side of that is running back to weigh in, and you're in the spring or the getting into the summer or early fall, and you feel like you can't stand up when you get back because your back's broke from beating all the way up and down the lake. And it's just courtesy of people on big public waters. Now, I think there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, and it happens everywhere, but it doesn't happen nearly as often with jet skis and this and that. And I'm not saying, I mean, that, you're going to have small things happen everywhere you go. But in general, I love the folks that fish the electric only series. And I have the same love for those that fish the big boat tournaments, but it's just it's a
little more laid back.
Yeah, it's peaceful.
Yeah,
it's peaceful when you sit out on a body of water and watch deer grazing on the bank, and just not having to hear boats running back and forth. And I still cause a bit of chaos every now and then when the fish are biting good, but other than that, it's pretty peaceful.
I fished with you before. You don't get chaotic. Just get pumped.
Man, I do. I remember that. I actually just dug that reel out. Remember that? The spinning reel? We were spooning.
Oh, yeah.
And spinning a brand new, I say a brand new, it's like a 5-year-old Sustain. The most expensive spinning reel I've owned just blew apart when I was, me and Merrick was catching them spooning up at Latham. Jigging spoons. We actually won that tournament, didn't we?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think if I GoPro'd it that day. I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember if I did or didn't. Patricia Smith saying, "Miss you very, very much, Aaron."
Patricia.
Man, this is like bittersweet hearing this now. I didn't know this news that Aaron was going in retirement.
Yeah. Man, trust me, I've had a hard time coping with it. On a side note, Patricia, you need to get your saltwater stuff together and quit playing. Her and Taylor are going down to St. George with us this year. So, looking forward to that trip.
What are y'all going out after?
We'll just bait fish and surf fish some. I got a friend of mine that's going to be down there at the same time. I hadn't even told them this yet. I don't know if it'll work out or not work out, depending on the weather or depending on if he's able to make it at the same time, but he's going to have his offshore boat there too. So I didn't want to, I guess I can break it to him on the TC. I don't know that it'll happen, but maybe.
Oh, boys, I'm in trouble. My better half. She was actually watching. I hope she didn't hear how much I had spent on the boat. So
thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, honey. If my Wi-Fi cuts out, it's the show's over.
Yeah.
Don't think nothing about it, guys. Just keep on.
No.
But kind of just wrapping up. I know we've been going for about an hour and 30 minutes. Honey, you can quit commenting now. So here she goes. She's keeping on asking what. She is still watching. All right, let me skip my wife's comment. So Patricia Smith, going for shark's teeth.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got to get her a shark.
Got to get a shark. If you got any questions, comments, feel free. If you haven't asked or anything like that, these men be glad to discuss anything relative to the state championship tournament or just John boat fishing in general. While we're kind of waiting for the final comments to kind of come through and conclude, I told both y'all men tonight, and I really meant it from the bottom of my heart, it was God sent for both y'all men to take and win that tournament, winning the state championship. Very, very appreciative y'all won it. And y'all definitely earned those 2 electric outboard Navy EVO 6.0s and the E175. So congratulations to both of y'all. Aaron, we're going to have to get you back, man. We're going to have to, I'm going to have to figure out some ways to just, you got it. Okay. I got a question. The motors. Have y'all strapped on 2 to 3 motors on the boat? Or do you not want to talk about it yet and wait till the pictures all come out?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I've had a lot of people asking, and you know, I don't know. I'm comfortable where it's at. I'm probably, I'm not probably. I've got my old one out, the battery pack out now. Got the new one put in this afternoon. But I'm probably going to stick with what I've got. Just one outboard, one battery pack, as much as I would like to run 2. I don't know how much you'd gain off of it. I don't know if it's going to be a trolling motor thing. You know, you go from 1 trolling motor to 2 trolling motors, and you're really not
gaining much
at all. And I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But I'm comfortable where it's at now. This off season, I may upgrade at some point. I don't know yet. I'm really waiting. Well, I kind of threw that out to ePropulsion earlier to see if they're coming out with a bigger motor. I don't know. We'll just have to see how things go.
In the words of Chris Simmons, send it.
Yeah. Send it and see.
That's right.
Yeah.
So talking about boat, obviously your projection of anything for upgrades or changes in the future, wanting to upgrade to a larger size electric outboard.
Yeah. I've got, I don't know where I'm going to be with it, where I'm going to land with it. There's some new players out there. There's some more motors starting to hit the market. You're getting some major players like Mercury's. You know, they've got Yamaha's got one. You've also got Elco. They make a great motor. And then ePropulsion's Torpedo. I mean, there's just so many.
There is
starting to come out. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So I'm curious, Aaron, being you're going in retirement, do you have a boat that you're going to be building for yourself to just pleasure fish on these lakes?
I don't know.
You got the motor and you got the battery pack, right?
Yeah. I trip over it every morning trying to get in the
truck. So all joking aside, I know, Chris, you like to do it a lot. Pan fishing, crappie fishing. Aaron, you do the same thing, crappie fishing.
Oh yeah, that's one thing we haven't done.
Yeah,
we're usually wearing crappie out right now, but
I've been one time I think this year. I mean, it's just, and it was a pre-fishing bass trip that never made it to bass fishing.
Yeah. We had probably one of our best crappie fishing days ever. What was it, last year in February?
Yeah, it was January, February.
Total?
What? I don't know.
We had like, what was it? We
had 20.
We had 6 fish that weighed over 15 pounds.
Wow. I gotta go catch a mess soon because our church is going to be doing a fish fry coming up. So I'm also going to try to finish up and put a bunch of them yellow perch in the freezer as well.
Man, that was awesome. That's
Have y'all ever ate yellow perch?
Yeah,
I have.
Where do y'all rank them?
pretty good.
Yeah. Now, one thing I haven't eaten is walleye.
Walleye's really good.
You know what my favorite part of the walleye is? The favorite, like
the tail.
I didn't eat the tail. I didn't eat the tail. I filleted mine. Have you really ate the tail?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
I mean, hey, I'm sitting here thinking to some people, and I ain't gonna say names, but I mean, there's some people that kind of like a hog. They gonna eat every single part of it.
Yeah. Did you eat the cheek? Did you cut the cheeks out?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gosh, that was like the filet mignon, the freshest scallop. Like it was just amazing.
Yeah, kind of amazing. Like fresh grouper cheek.
Yeah. So that's what we used to offshore fish. That was my favorite thing to do was the cheeks. So
oh my gosh, man! Like we used a batter on that walleye I didn't much care for, and then I just took the cheekbones and I didn't batter it. I just put it in the pan, seared it, flipped it. Oh, I actually caught a walleye up there pre-fishing, and it'll probably be in a video. And so disgusted, got it right to the boat, and it fell off. And I'm sitting there just fussing myself out. Why in the world did I try to boat flip and I don't know how big to judge in a walleye, 6 pound, maybe 7 pound. Like, why in the world did I try to flip it? I could have ate a walleye. Yeah. And JV was out there that day in his boat. And by the time I got back to the ramp, he was like, I got something to show you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't want to see your bass, man. Like, whatever. I was already disgusted. I don't want to see him. I already know what you got. I don't want to see him. And he goes, no, come here. And he pulled it out. He goes, I got this for you. Actually, it was Jeff Cash. Jeff Cash was the one that caught it. That's right. And he's like, take it home with you. I was like, oh, man, you keep it. He wound up talking me into taking it. Oh, man. I like perch better, though.
Really?
I like perch better. Definitely like perch better. I mean, it's more of like finger nuggets. You know what I mean? Like you ain't got much to it, but I think it was just how we cooked the walleye. It just wasn't as operator error. Anyways, don't mean to sidetrack on all that, but again, concluding the show, Chris, Aaron, congratulations to both of y'all on an amazing day of fishing out there at Lake Blue Ridge and becoming the 2-time state champion and state champion as well. And going straight into retirement. You'll always be a state champion, right, Aaron?
Yeah. He'll be back at some point.
Do you think he'll be back, Aaron?
I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about. I like it. I already sense it. So appreciate both of y'all, man. Good luck in y'all's season for this year, Chris. And wished it was you too, Aaron. So, but wish y'all the best and safe travels for the year.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. You as well. And I do want to thank you all. Thank you and all the other club presidents. I know you do. That's a lot of work. A lot of work went into that. Thank all the sponsors. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do it. So yeah, we could do it, but it wouldn't be at the level that we're doing it at. So
I think we've fished. We've missed one TEC.
Yep, one TEC since they started.
We've both fished all of them but one.
Yep.
And I think this one was by far the best.
Yep, I agree, 100%.
Really was everything, from start to end.
Tiny Boat Nation did a really amazing job. I know I haven't probably publicly said that enough, but all the directors were qualified, excluding one. One did not, but put a lot of pressure on Tiny Boat Nation, and they really, really stepped up in a huge way. Even though I nearly messed it up for everybody, half my stuff was in my truck, and about, if anybody's seen it, so that way it's out there and disclosed, at about 12:30, I got a phone call from Chris Simmons, and he's like, "Hey, bud, where's your truck keys at?" I looked at JV and I said, "Oh, no." I said, "Chris, they're in JV's pocket in the boat." I said, "Can you come over here I said, "We're literally," I don't want to say locations, but you can drive right over here and meet us at the bank, and I'll throw you the keys." So that's what he done. He drove over, got the keys, and had to go back and get the rest of the stuff out of the truck. So big shout out to Tiny Boat Nation. They really did an amazing job helping out in a big kind of way.
Yeah.
And the rest of all the sponsors.
Great guys, too. Great group.
Yes. But again, congratulations to both you men on 2023 Georgia Bass-TEC State Championship, and getting y'all's prize for 2 electric outboards and 2 E-Series batteries. So congrats, and we'll hopefully see y'all back on stage again. Aaron, you need to make sure to hang around and come around with us still, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, men, for both coming on tonight. Really greatly
Thank
appreciate y'all.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right. Have a good night.
See ya. That's it, folks. Our 2023 Georgia Bass-TEC State Champions. Appreciate each and every one of our fans that has tuned on tonight, even across the big pond. First time we've had comment come through like that. Appreciate it. Feel free to look us up on Facebook and shoot us a message to the gentleman there that was in Australia. We'd love to at least follow back to y'all's pages and social medias and everything like that as well. It is a very, very tight-knit community here in Georgia. You know, I'm sure a lot of the guys here in the States would love to learn how maybe y'all are fishing in Australia as well. So appreciate each and every one of our fans tuning in, each and every one of our sponsors that makes our Hooked Up Live shows possible. Without them, it would be very difficult for us to even be able to have these shows. So show them some love. Line Taming Serum, Just Catch Bass, Star Lures, G2 Gemini Jerseys, Tiny Boat Nation Outdoors, PFD Fishing, and Dugout Bait and Tackle. Get over there and check them out. They have some amazing products, each and every one of them, not putting one above another, but get over and check them out. They would be glad to hear from you on social media pages. So no further ado, that is it. 2023 is over. Our seasons have already began through with 2023 for all the clubs. And guess what? It ain't going to be long in qualifying for the 2024 Georgia Bass-TEC. And I'm going to tell you, it has already began planning. So y'all get ready. It is going to be one sure enough ride in 2024. So appreciate each and every one of y'all. God bless you all. And we will see y'all back on our next Hooked Up Live, which will be very, very soon. God bless.